In 1800, Alessandro Volta invented the first chemical battery, fundamentally changing the entire course of human civilization. Yet the enigmatic Baghdad battery suggests that ancient electricity actually existed 2 millennia earlier, buried beneath sand. In 1936, German archaeologist Wilhelm König unearthed 14 mundane clay jars at Khujut Rabu near modern Baghdad. Inside these Parthian vessels, dating back to 250 BC, lay copper cylinders encompassing oxidized central iron rods. Could an ancient Mesopotamian civilization have secretly harnessed electrical current 2,000 years before the modern era? The construction precisely mimics a galvanic cell, a 2.6 centimeter copper cylinder perfectly insulated with an asphaltum plug. Suspended within was a 7.5 centimeter iron rod, requiring only an acidic liquid to activate the dormant charge. In 1947, General Electric engineer Willard Grape decided to meticulously reconstruct this enigmatic mechanism in a laboratory. By filling his precise replica with ordinary grape juice, Gray successfully recorded a steady 1.5 volts output. Despite this triumph, official documentation of the 1936 excavation remains lost, obscuring the artifact's true archaeological provenance. Furthermore, archaeologists never discovered accompanying wires, conductive terminals, or associated electrical equipment near the original excavation site. Thousands of ancient Parthian texts document daily life meticulously, yet absolutely no surviving records mention anything about electricity. In 1993, researcher Paul Kaiser published a comprehensive academic study suggesting the devices served a medical purpose. Kaiser hypothesized that these ancient galvanic cells were utilized for localized pain relief through mild electroacupuncture techniques. Testing the Baghdad battery ancient electricity theory required researchers to connect multiple reconstructed cells in a series. During the 2012 MythBusters broadcast, linking 10 jars yielded enough current to successfully electroplate a small coin. Decades earlier, in 1978, Egyptologist Arne Eggebrecht claimed he effectively gilded a silver statuette using identical replicas. His formally published results documented a continuous flow of 0.87 milliamperes operating at exactly half a volt. However, independent researchers later discovered that Eggebrecht secretly utilized potassium cyanide to facilitate the entire gilding process. Potassium cyanide remains a highly complex modern chemical compound that was completely unknown to the ancient world. Intriguingly, numerous gilded Hellenistic artifacts currently resting in European museum vaults display exceptionally thin layers of gold. These coatings measure between 0.1 and 1 micrometer, rendering them entirely too thin for traditional mercury amalgamation. This precise micron thickness strongly suggests an electroplating process, yet definitive isotopic testing on these artifacts remain undone. Consequently, the official scientific status of the Baghdad apparatus currently remains an object of unknown fundamental purpose. Adding profound complexity, König published his memoirs, Im Verlorenen Paradise, in 1954, detailing a startling Berlin discovery. He claimed to have seen dismantled copper cylinders from the ancient Akkadian period stored in museum vaults. Astoundingly, this observation pushes the origin of these mysterious devices back by an unimaginable 2,000 years. If such profound electrical technology existed during Akkadian rule, it was subsequently lost for multiple successive millennia. The fragile survival of the Parthian originals faced an ultimate peril during the chaotic April of 2003. Ruthless looters violently ransacked the National Museum of Iraq, devastating countless irreplaceable historical treasures within mere hours. Fortunately, dedicated museum personnel had secretly hidden the crucial battery components deep inside secure subterranean storage vaults. The original physical artifacts miraculously survived the destruction, yet decades of potential modern chemical analysis completely evaporated. To this day, a comprehensive mass spectrometry analysis of the organic residue inside the cylinders remains unconducted. This dried internal residue holds the ultimate chemical truth. Why has modern science deliberately avoided examining it entirely? Skeptics strongly argue that these vessels merely protected fragile papyrus scrolls from the harsh, destructive Mesopotamian climate. Yet this mundane explanation fails to account for the heavy iron rod and distinct acidic corrosion patterns. The thick asphaltum seal effectively trapped liquid inside the copper tube, indicating a deliberate, complex fluid mechanism.
Accepting this electrical hypothesis demands completely rewriting our established historical timelines regarding ancient technological and scientific achievements.
Consequently, mainstream academic institutions quietly marginalize the artifact, denying crucial funding for advanced metallurgical or isotopic testing. The Baghdad jar remains suspended between a miraculous scientific anachronism and a stubbornly ignored piece of history. Returning to the definitive 2012 experiment, researchers demonstrated that ancient civilizations required zero modern synthetic chemical reagents. Utilizing solely primitive copper, raw iron, and fermented grape juice, a legitimate electrical current was undeniably achieved. This undeniably confirmed that successfully electroplating thick golden layers onto silver artifacts was physically possible during antiquity. Therefore, the mechanical capacity to harness raw electricity existed 2,000 years before Alessandro Volta stepped forward. The sheer physical capability of ancient electricity stands proven, yet this profound revelation creates a terrifying historical paradox. If this monumental electrical knowledge truly existed, how could an entire advanced empire forget it so completely? History reveals that sweeping imperial conquests often systematically annihilated advanced scientific knowledge, burning ancient libraries to ash. Perhaps this radical power was fiercely guarded by a highly secretive elite caste of Babylonian alchemical priests. When those isolated ancient guardians perished during brutal invasions, their revolutionary scientific secrets died permanently with them. They left behind only these crude clay jars as silent, misunderstood witnesses to a forgotten golden age. Modern society arrogantly assumes technological supremacy, blinding ourselves to the spectacular achievements of our forgotten ancient ancestors. We possess the undeniable physical artifacts, confirming their intricate chemical design beyond any reasonable modern scientific doubt. The successful 2012 replication clearly proved that generating constant electrical voltage was absolutely within their mechanical grasp. Unfortunately, the permanent loss of König's original 1936 excavation records effectively erased the vital archaeological context forever. Ultimately, the Baghdad battery resides in the silent shadows of history, silently mocking our profound modern ignorance. If these ancient minds truly possessed advanced electrical technology, why was this profound knowledge completely erased from history? Perhaps the deep sand conceals even greater historical impossibilities, patiently waiting for someone daring enough to look closer. Until then, the silent Baghdad battery remains an absolute enigma, defying everything we thought we finally knew. The investigation into humanity's forgotten past never truly ends here. Subscribe now to uncover more classified historical mysteries. Select the next open dossier on your screen to continue the pursuit of truth. The archives await.